Good morning everyone, today we're checking out a brand new video from Popcross Studios of turning Dandy World Tristids into SCPs. Now, if you don't know what Dandy World is, it's pretty much just bending the ink machine, but with color, and it was made in Roblox. And that's pretty much all you need to know, so let's hop in and see how these inky monsters became even more monstrous.
Dandy's World is one of those topics that I wouldn't have found myself if it weren't for some of my subscribers suggesting that I take a look at it and make a video with it. And once I did look into it, I realized it had that perfect blend of
this guy right here, that's Dandy.
Cute, kind of cartoony sorts of characters mixed with creepy lore that makes for a perfect SCPs video. This one definitely has legs for a potential sequel, so subscribe if you're new here and you want to see that. Hitting the like button's helpful too, and, you know, just give me ideas for other stuff you want to see as SCPs or that I should work with in the comments. Because I
remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more.
Won't be ramping up my new original series until January, so there's more pop culture video time in the slate right now. But anyway, let's get into it, shall we?
Let's go. Hit like if you want, subscribe if you feel like it. By the way, enjoy the show.
Good evening.
Alright, Dresden.
Today we will be discussing entities,
and this is Monster Dandy,
that fall into the subcategory of SCP-R, though frankly I am somewhat surprised these entities themselves were not put into their own subcategory, considering how many we already have. Not that I am complaining. These entities all...
Yeah, no, these guys would be in like a subcategory of a subcategory. These would be SCP-R/DW.
come from one location,
then it'd be the
dubbed
number.
SCP-R900, which will be elaborated upon in discussing our first entity. Item number SCP-R901. Object class, Euclid.
It's got
Special
tape stuck in
containment
his
procedures. Security feeds are to be constantly run from the inside of R901's housing, and if it is becoming clearly frustrated due to feeling ignored or elsewise, observing operatives are to either get on a microphone and speak with the entity for a short while, or the song, Claire de Lune, is to be played within its cell to calm it. If it transforms into an alternate state, nobody may enter its containment until it has calmed itself down. If it remains in this state for a period of 3 hours or more...
So is this the alternate state?
Operatives are to take one of the other entities found in SCP Site R900 who has not yet undergone twisted transformation, and allow them to speak into R901's cell in an attempt to calm it. Description: R901 in its resting form is a 4-foot-tall humanoid with the head of a flower with 6 different colored
twisted form
petals stemming from it. It looks like a living cartoon, which is precisely what it was created to be. Like other entities found in Site R900, also known as the Garden View Center, this entity was created by 2 now deceased figures, Delilah Keene and Arthur Walton. We believe these living cartoon-like entities were created by these 2 in the mid-1980s, though were only first publicly seen in 1988. They were part of the entertainment in the Garden View Education Center and Museum. It was somewhat like a children's indoor playground, where kids could interact with and learn from the entities that wandered the site. There was also a
Oh wow, yeah, I did just realize there is actually a lot of comparisons between Dandy's World and Bending the Ink Machine. Wow, that is so much you can tell why it was made.
Television
Boston
show
loves
created
bending.
about the entities, which starred them and was filmed on site until the Garden View's closing. It was open to the public from late 1988 until 2002, at which point the SCP Foundation shut it down, having discovered that the entities walking around the center, once claimed to be extremely advanced animatronic costumes, were actually living creatures, designed by Arthur and brought to life by Delilah using a substance that the entities refer to as ichor. The Foundation began investigating claims of supernatural and anomalous disturbances in the center in the early 2000s. It was only in June of 2002 that sufficient evidence was gathered to show that the entities were anomalous, leading the Foundation to take action. The site was raided with the intent to arrest Delilah and Arthur, but Coincidentally, it arrived after they'd already lost their lives to a transformed version of R901. When this entity grows overly frustrated, often triggered by it feeling ignored, impatient, or concerned for its allies, it turns into a quadrupedal creature of over 9 feet tall, whose body is largely composed of the black slimy substance ichor, which brought it and its kin to life in the first place. In this state, it becomes far more violent, and can kill a human with a single swipe of its colorful claws. Oddly, its body also plays the song Clair de Lune, the third segment in a 4-movement composition created for piano by French composer Claude Debussy. While the entity is able to speak, its ability to convey complex information is limited, having a level of intelligence similar to that of a 4-year-old child. We have ascertained that this song slowly works to calm R901 when it's in its alternate state, but that can take some time and ultimately is not always guaranteed to work.
Yeah, it's a Sean Dog of seeing that song would do a damn thing with this guy. And you are currently playing that song. Okay.
All entities collected from the raid of the Garden View Center have been in containment, or at least on a Foundation site, since the ordeal took place. Many have been considered safe for much of their time here, and have caused little in the way of problems, except when they become, as they call, twisted. The first to become this way in Foundation containment was item number SCP-R907. Object class, Euclid. Okay. Special containment procedures. Until a way to return R907 to its non-twisted state is discovered, the entity's cell is only to be entered when it has been sedated, or if those entering are trained field operatives in full body armor to prevent injury. Description: R907 was once a 2-foot-tall rock-like entity with 4 legs, a tail, and the demeanor of a puppy. It was allegedly the pet of R901, though, like the others from the Garden View Center, it was free to roam about the site as it saw fit, interacting with any children that came in to explore and play. When Site R900 was raided, it was discovered that this substance, ichor, flowed through the pipes and walls of the site. Not only was it used to create these entities, but it was used to keep them alive, like their own unique form of sustenance and blood. Named likely in reference to the Greek mythological descriptor for the blood of the gods, it is still unknown how Arthur and Delilah came across this substance, but the Garden View Center seems to have been built intentionally on top of a perpetually replenishing supply of it, 614 feet beneath the earth.
Wait, they found a well of ichor and just decided, hey, let's use this as to bring all cartoon characters to life. If they could have made so much more money bringing that to the scientific community.
The substance is regularly farmed by Foundation operatives, both to be studied, but also to be given to the entities made by it to keep them sustained. Unfortunately, it has been difficult to determine how much of the substance to provide them with, as too much can prove dangerous. An overabundant supply was provided to R907 early in its arrival, as the operative feeding it was, seemingly from the security footage, overcome by its adorable demeanor, and was compelled to feed it more than previously designated.
Ooh, that's
this
bad.
Then caused the entity to grow and transform into its twisted form. What was once its body simply became the top of its jaw. 4 more boulder-like forms sprouted from it, giving it a new body, a clubbed tail, and clawed feet, all connected to the now bipedal creature with thick strands of ichor. Like R901 in its altered state, this entity then became incredibly hostile, killing the operative who had fed it and injuring 3 others who then endeavored to restrain it. While R901 has proven able to turn back into its original state after temporarily becoming twisted, R907 has not proven to have the same skill. Since it first turned after being contained in 2002, this entity has remained in its altered state, and shows no signs of its aggression diminishing. Unfortunately, it is now simply one of many.
I think the one reason why it may not be able to turn back is because of the level of intelligence that was assigned to it. Considering it was already said to have a puppy-like demeanor, it clearly was meant to be, a pet. So, with subhuman intelligence, it clearly was not thinking like a, human.
Who have become twisted.
Just a person, I mean. Do like this design though, it is pretty damn good.
I have shifted into my non-canonical consciousness to inform you all that if you enjoy the notes and information
and the voice remains the same. Love it.
About these entities, you may want to purchase the Popcross Studios novel Fear of the Demon Hunters, which itself carries a similar tone and much more extensive art of similar such creatures to what I discuss here today. I also play a small role in that story myself. Other options you may enjoy include Mytholethal, which is more action mythology based, or
Still
Vigilance, an anthology about the competitors of a super-powered sports fighting league. Both Mytholethal and Vigilance are receiving a sequel and spin-off respectively in January, so it may behoove you to catch up on what has occurred previously. Alternatively, Popcross has coloring books you may enjoy if you want to color entities similar to the ones.
Yeah, you know, I guess in my own free time I actually should have Vigilance playing so I can, you know, get the backstory for it and everything that happened inside, like he's suggesting. That way I'm not lost in the dark for when the Book of Bionites finally starts.
In this video. Hopefully any of these can hold you over until my own handbook is inevitably completed.
Still
Links
awesome.
to the Popcross bookstores are available in the description. Now back to the SCP-R entities. Another of these entities to become twisted early on was, unfortunately, also one that had once been a well of information on what had occurred in the Garden View Center. This was item number SCP-R909. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. Prior to becoming twisted, R909 was to be provided with a 3-hour time slot once per day in which it could spend with R916, elsewise known as Cosmo. Now, with both entities having turned, they are each to be kept within their own respective cells perpetually, kept alive on a small supply of ichor, enough to prevent death, but not so much as to cause any potential further transformation.
Oh, you have no idea.
R909 was once a cartoon-like humanoid with a large strawberry for a head, called Sprout by others of its kind. When it became twisted, assumed to be from overconsumption of ichor due to a management error, it then grew from 4 foot 2 inches to 6 foot 3 inches, and became proportionally more similar to that of an average human. This has been a strange phenomenon we have noticed with all
literally 2 versions. Okay, that's actually pretty awesome.
Twisted entities. When they transform into these more aggressive altered states, they also take on traits and even different texturing to their flesh, which makes them more closely resemble real-world humans and animals. They lose many of their more cartoon-like features and become, for lack of a better term, more realistic in appearance. On top of a change in stature and proportions, the leaves that once stemmed from R909's strawberry-like head became more akin to green human hair, though still stuck in a sort of halfway state between leaves and hair. Most significantly, a large portion of its body became overcome with ichor, growing one of the entity's arms into a large amorphous claw. The transformation has also made the entity's scarf mobile, allowing it to attack those around it in a similar fashion to a tail or other additional limb.
I was about to compare it to like a snake. The entity has
also proven capable of spawning tendrils of ichor from the ground, with which to assault operatives. This has led to more questions about what exactly this substance is. Notes and paperwork gathered on these entities' creations are limited, but we have confirmed this substance was used to make these creatures. But
well, it was said in like Greek mythology that ichor was the blood of the gods, so what if this is the blood of a fallen god? Or an evil god, or something?
What is its origin?
Cosmic?
What is its inherent purpose if it biologically has one in the grander scheme of nature? Or was it created and placed within the earth by some other entity or supernatural force? The cartoon-like entities have had little information to share on the matter, and as stated, the only beings who know how they were made are no longer alive to provide us with the information we seek.
2 versions for the same character. But I still like it.
One of the latest entities to transform into a twisted state is item number SCP-R936. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. Lights within R936's cell are to always be left on, even while the entity sleeps. Prior to it becoming twisted, this was largely a way to keep the entity comfortable, as it would become agitated in the dark. Now it is done to reduce the twisted entity's violent tendencies as much as possible. Description:
Before I kept it calm, now
R936
it's
is a
literally keeping it
bipedal
calm.
blue and gray wolf entity. It is similar now to its appearance in its unaltered state, but has altered proportionally to look akin to an average werewolf, albeit with two overly large claws composed of ichor, with the end of its tail being similar. It also has a perpetually bleeding wound in the center of its forehead that is shaped similarly to a crescent moon. This entity transforming has given us cause for concern, as absolutely no alteration to the amount of ichor provided to it was made. It seems to have spontaneously changed into this alternate state, and with no method found as of yet to change it or the others back, we are simply left to contain another dangerous entity that was once not only considered safe to roam about its facility freely, but was an actual asset due to its excitable and very joyful nature.
Damn,
so long as the entity
useful.
did not wander into a particularly dark room of the Foundation, it was beneficial to the mental health of the Foundation's operatives, as its own fun-loving and kind nature was infectious. Even after entering a dark room, the worst thing it would do is loudly—
God, that wound on the head looks so deep. Like, that's not just a cut or a skull, but like someone took out a chunk of flesh that is in the shape of a crescent moon. God.
Howl and potentially startle operatives, who would then simply have to guide it out of a dark space into the light. Now, R936 is simply another violent beast. Many experiments have been done in an effort to turn the twisted entities back to their common form. These experiments have been run both on the ichor itself and on entity R901 in an attempt to discover why it can transform back and forth. The entity itself has provided only cryptic information, which it seems either incapable of elaborating on or is intentionally withholding information.
Probably
Due to
both.
its perceived
Could
level
be both.
of intelligence,
You never know.
we assume it to be the former. Now, that is all for today, but if there are other twisted entities within this subcategory that you wish to be informed about, please let me know. Other than that, thank you, and good night.
Well, now that we know this thing is a female, who wants to bet that there's already a fan art of this wolf? $1,000? Yeah, okay.
If you enjoyed this, I recommend checking out some of my other Roblox-related SCPs episodes, like my Doors SCPs videos, or maybe more recently my Silksong SCPs videos. But besides that, that's all for today.
I did check that out.
We're ending this video on some kind of positive or inspiring note, and the thought I want to leave people with today is a quote from a man named Corey Allen, who said, "Peace doesn't come from controlling everything. It comes from learning what's worth your energy and what isn't." I hope that's inspiring or helpful. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video on Friday. I won't be in the comments for that one, and there won't be a video on the following Monday. Just a reminder, I will be on vacation.
Oh yeah, that's right. Alright everyone, that's going to be the end of today's video, and I hope you all enjoyed this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see all of you next time when we flick back on. Until then, this is Fox, signing out. Peace.